All right, let's talk about OpenAI's next big thing. For months, all we've had is this kind of funny internal code name, Spud. But here's the thing. To really get what Spud is all about, you have to first understand what OpenAI sacrificed to even build it. So picture this. March 24th, 2026, OpenAI just pulls the plug on Sora, its incredible text-to-video generator. This was only 15 months after it launched and took the world by storm. I mean, the entire creative industry was buzzing about it, and then, poof, it was just gone.
And that's the real mystery here, isn't it? Why on earth would a company at the absolute peak of its power just kill a product that went viral literally overnight? Well, the answer reveals a huge strategic shift happening right at the heart of the entire AI industry.
To really wrap our heads around this, you have to see the kind of pressure OpenAI was under. Because, despite looking totally dominant from the outside, the company was actually facing some serious heat from all sides.
First off, their last big launch, GPT-5, didn't exactly get a standing ovation. It came out in August 2025, and the reviews were, well, they were mixed. The Wall Street Journal even reported that users were saying it felt clinical and was somehow worse at things like math than older models. That put a ton of pressure on them to come out with something that was a clear, undeniable win. And yeah, the competition was not sitting around. You had heavy hitters from Anthropic, Google, and Meta all coming out with really strong models. So OpenAI's spot at the top was suddenly looking a lot less secure. Their throne was definitely being challenged.
But you know what? Their biggest problem was actually one they created themselves. Sora, that amazing video demo, was basically a giant furnace for burning money.
Just try to process this number. According to estimates from Forbes, it costs $15 million to operate Sora every single day.
And look at this chart. The imbalance is just staggering. Sora's total revenue over its whole lifetime was a tiny $1.4 million. Its estimated cost per year? Over 5.4 times billion. The math just didn't work. As one of their own team leads put it, it was completely unsustainable.
So faced with that reality, OpenAI had to make a pretty brutal decision. They started what we're calling the Great Compute Pivot, basically redirecting their single most valuable resource, raw computing power.
You can see on this timeline just how fast it all happened. GPT-5 gets that lukewarm reception in August 2025. By December, the company is in a code red to refocus its efforts. And that all leads to shutting down Sora in March 2026, which freed up an unbelievable amount of compute.
But killing Sora wasn't just about cutting costs. It was about a brand new mission. At the very same time, OpenAI actually renamed its product division to AGI Deployment. Now, that little name change says a lot. They're not just building cool products anymore. They are now officially in the business of deploying artificial general intelligence. So it all boiled down to a strategic trade-off. See, GPUs, those chips that are the lifeblood of AI, are a scarce resource. Every single GPU that was busy making a Sora video was a GPU that couldn't be used to train their next big model. They had to choose. And that next big model is Project Spud. All of that compute they freed up, all of that intense strategic focus, it's all being poured into this one top-secret project.
So, let's separate fact from fiction. Here's what we actually know for sure. The internal code name is Spud. That's confirmed. We also know, thanks to some internal memos, that its pre-training finished up in March 2026. And finally, we know it's being treated as a new flagship model, not just some minor update.
Okay, now for the really fun part. All the speculation. Is this thing going to be called GPT 5.5, or is it the full jump to GPT 6? Nobody knows. Even CEO Sam Altman had some fun with it, joking on X that they'd rename it GPT 6.7, which is apparently a nod to some Gen Alpha slang.
So what's the big idea behind Spud? This isn't just about making a slightly better chatbot. This is about kicking off a whole new era of AI, one that can do real, complex, actual work.
Sam Altman laid it out pretty clearly in an internal memo. He said the goal is for Spud to be a very strong model that can really accelerate the economy. So the ambition here isn't just better search results. We're talking about making a real, measurable dent in science, in research, in industry.
A huge problem Spud is supposed to solve is what OpenAI's president, Greg Brockman, calls jaggedness. You know what he means, right? It's when a model is superhuman at one thing, like writing incredible poetry, but then it completely fails at a simple related task, like counting the syllables in a line of that poem. Spud's whole purpose is to smooth out those jagged edges and be reliable, so developers can finally build those complex AI agents that don't just break all the time.
And the ultimate vision here is some kind of unified super app powered by Spud. Just imagine an AI that could combine ChatGPT, the Codex coding tool, and a web browser all in one. It could, say, research a topic online, then write the code for an app based on what it learned, and then turn around and ask you for feedback, all in one single smooth workflow.
Which brings us to the one question everybody wants an answer to. When do we actually get to try this thing?
Now, let's be super clear, this is all just speculation. This is not an official timeline. But if you look at prediction markets like Manifold, you get a really interesting sense of what people are expecting. And right now, the smart money is heavily pointing towards a release in late 2026. These markets are giving it a 73% chance of getting here before 2027.
And that really brings us to the final, biggest question of all. You hear OpenAI's leadership saying they're maybe 70 to 80% of the way there, and you see the entire company pivot to focus on AGI deployment. It really makes you wonder, is Spud the last major piece of the puzzle before we see the real thing? Before we get actual artificial general intelligence?